Hey guys, Chanko, 2 Turbo, 2-time Muay Thai World Professional Champion, and scary dream of Dillon Danis. Strašný kašmar Dillona Danisa.
Before the main event could even get underway, chaos broke out in the stands. Dillon Danis, Dillon's crew, and several members of Khabib's camp ended up in a heated confrontation that instantly electrified the entire arena. So by the time Islam and JDM finally made their walk to the cage, the crowd was already on high alert. And when their fight wrapped up, the reactions that followed pushed the atmosphere to an even higher level, turning the whole night into one of the most intense events in recent memory. When Dana White was questioned about the chaos, he didn't try to avoid the topic. Instead, he admitted the situation was partly his own fault. According to Dana, security approached him right before the main card began, informing him that Danis had wandered into the fighters section instead of the seat he was assigned. They asked if they should move him. Since Danis technically had a valid ticket, Dana told them to leave it alone, that IT was a decision he immediately regretted once the pre-fight scuffle exploded.
This is the fight game. Crazy stuff happens all the time, especially behind the scenes, but I was right there on press row when that crazy brawl broke out with Dillon Danis and the member of Khabib's team and stuff. Can you just tell us how disappointed you were to see that and any insight into the fallout?
I blame myself for that, actually. They came back and told me right before I walked out for the main card that Dillon Danis was here and he was moving around sitting in fighter seats and not sitting in his own seat that he had a ticket. And they said, do you want us to throw him out of here? And I said, he has a ticket? And I said, yeah.
Dana explained that security had also warned him that Masvidal was looking to confront Danis, and the two were seated only a few rows apart. Still, because Danis' ticket was legitimate, Dana allowed him to remain, assigning staff to keep an eye on him. What Dana didn't anticipate, he said, was that the area was packed with passionate Islam supporters. So when the scuffle erupted, he immediately understood exactly what was happening. After watching the whole thing unfold, Dana made his stance clear. Danis won't be attending another UFC event. He's officially banned.
They told me, they said, Masvidal said he's going to fuck him up on site. And I said, well, where's Masvidal sitting? He said, well, he's 6 or 7 rows away from Masvidal. I said, well, if the guy has a ticket, let him sit in his seat and let him do what he's doing and keep an eye on him. It never even crossed my mind as stupid as this could be, that the entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam. And as soon as it broke out, I was over on the other side and I go, fuck, I know exactly what that is. I knew it. And yeah, you will never see
Dana pointed out that Danis often claims the UFC won't sign him because he brings too much drama. After what happened tonight, Dana said that argument pretty much proved itself. He repeated once again that Danis is not coming back. Security even asked Dana if he wanted Danis arrested, but Dana declined. He said this is the fight business, and he wasn't going to press charges, especially since he believed the whole situation could have been avoided if he had made a different call earlier as for whether anyone else ended up being detained. Dana said he hadn't heard of any arrests yet, though he couldn't speak for everyone involved in the altercation.
At a UFC fight ever again.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's wanted badly to come in this company, and he said you guys don't want to sign him because he makes too much trouble. I guess point made.
Well, that and a lot of other reasons,
Yeah.
but yeah, you'll never see him at another fight. So they called me from downstairs and they said, we got him down here. Do you want to press charges and have him arrested? And I said, no, we don't want to press charges. This is the fight business, man. You know how I feel about this shit. You know, and I could have prevented this tonight, and I messed up.
Yeah. Anyone else get arrested or anything like that in the fall?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Okay. We're not pressing charges. I'm not speaking for MSG or anybody else that was involved in this thing. I don't know, but we, the UFC, are not pressing.
After Dana gave his perspective on the chaos, Islam Makhachev shared his own thoughts on why the fight in the crowd broke out. He said years of non-stop trash talk aimed at him and his team finally boiled over. According to Islam, when someone keeps disrespecting people, eventually there are going to be consequences. In his view, Dillon Danis had been crossing the line for a long time, and what happened was the natural outcome of that behavior. Islam even went as far as saying the situation was serious enough that Danis shouldn't be allowed back into the country.
When you talk about someone like last 5 years you talk about someone, when you meet them, you have to answer what you said, you know. And today, I don't think he answered, you know. And he still say a lot of bad things about our team. And today he coming and somebody just meet him. He talk about this guy's bad, and today the guys just meet him. That's it.
Dana said he's banned from UFC events for life, so he'll never be back to one.
He have to ban from this country also.
Dillon Danis also shared his side of the story, breaking down the history behind the rising tension. According to him, the issues had been simmering for weeks, ever since he posted photos of Khabib drinking, something Khabib's team didn't take lightly. He added that even before the Khabib versus Conor fight, there were heated words exchanged through the fence. And once that fight actually took place, everything exploded the moment he and Khabib ended up face to face.
Went straight for the calf kick within the first minute, straight for the calf kick, started doing some real damage to that leg early on. Obviously, and obviously the wrestling was always going to be a big factor in this fight. Yeah. Islam does what Islam does. But I think the leg attacks just took Jack's foundation away. You know, his grounding in that tight-knit boxing that he likes to use. It affected not only his movement when he was striking, but his defense, his backing up against cage, his sprawl ability, all of it. Not to say though, Islam's timing was just sensational. Perfect. You know, sensational. And then you also saw, so I mentioned earlier when we first started that Islam's cardio was in question, just him moving up. How was he going to go throughout the thing? It seemed like, even though Islam was being very physical to get these takedowns, Jack was losing that battle of attrition, being on his back. You know, he had grimaces the entire time. The pressure.
Fight, I said it. If it hits the ground, it's gonna be a long night for Jack. It was a very long night, but Islam did really good on the feet as well. He implemented that calf kick very early, mixing it up. Habib didn't let him get out of the game plan. He was yelling at him, do not strike, get your takedowns in, right? You get into those modes sometimes where your striking's landing, you're looking good, you're hurting him on the feet, and then you want to go all on the feet. Islam did a beautiful job sticking to strategizing. Jack did a good job of not getting submitted on the ground. Islam had some spots. His good chokes. Jack just really had nothing for him. Probably by the third or fourth round, I don't know, he just looked down in the corner. Like he really had nothing left. Probably never felt that before. Like I said, when DDP fought Hamza, if you never grapple with a guy from that region, from Dagestan, and you start feeling for the first time, you don't want it to be in the cage because it's different. It's a different squeeze, different feel, different top pressure. Islam did an amazing job in there, sticking to it, and then winning. Team Habib, Javier Mendez, they get their first double champ in that team, and that's been one of the most dominant teams in UFC history.
Weeks before the fight happened, they were commenting on my picture because I was posting like Khabib drinking whiskey and stuff like that, and that for them was like crazy. So I kind of knew it was gonna be hostile, and like I knew like all this was going down. And then during the fight, there was one time against the fence, he was against the fence, and he was like saying to me, like talking to me. So I'm like, all right, and we were talking back and forth, and like it was what it was. And then after the fight, he came over, he pointed at me, and I was like going like this, and I was like, come here, or whatever. And then he threw the mouthpiece, and I said like something to him, and he said something back, and then also he just jumped. And I was like, all right, well, now it's a fight. But he jumped in such a weird way. It was like the weirdest thing. So I didn't know what to block. I didn't know what to block a kick or be like, I'm like this because I don't know. He jumped with his feet in the air. So he landed, and then we got into that brawl, and then the security's holding me, and then Islam and all of them are punching me in the back of the head. Yeah, you know, you're not going to disrespect my boy and then try to come at me, and then, you know, I'm going to always defend.
Shifting focus to the aftermath of the Islam versus JDM fight, with Islam emerging victorious, analysts are weighing in with their thoughts. Dana White reflected on his decades in the sport, pointing out that fighters are often hyped as the next big champions, but only a few truly live up to the expectations. When it came to Khabib, however, Dana recalled his father's prediction that Khabib would be dominant, and that Islam would follow a similar path. Remarkably, Dana said that is exactly how things played out, a clear testament to both Khabib's lasting legacy and Islam's impressive rise in the sport.
And I was saying to Habib, I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said, Habib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, and then Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, you know, holy shit, it played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing. I don't know what you asked me, but I hope I answered your question.
I know it's just...
After Dana's remarks, Michael Bisping shared his analysis of Islam's performance against Jack Della Maddalena. He called it complete domination from beginning to end, describing the fight as a one-sided affair where Islam executed his strategy flawlessly. Bisping specifically praised Islam's wrestling, pointing out how he controlled each round with consistent takedowns that became increasingly effective as the fight went on, leaving Jack with very little chance to mount any meaningful offense.
Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. So, as I said, it was domination. It was an annihilation. It was one-way traffic from start to finish, okay? We knew Islam was going to go out there and try to out-wrestle him. That's what he did. He was very successful. He took him down every single round, and the longer the fight went, the easier.
Bisping observed that Jack seemed trapped throughout the fight, moving sluggishly and struggling to create any real offense. Even as his coach urged him to push back, Jack kept taking strikes and kicks, refusing to give up. Bisping emphasized Islam's dominance, noting his 28-1 record and comparing it to Anderson Silva's 16-fight win streak.
Now, Jack, according to his coach, was stuck in the mud. He wasn't moving the feet quite as much. And at the end of every round, his coach, and I'm sure they have a great relationship, so they understand each other, should I say. But the coach was just giving him a hard time. He was like, what are you doing, mate? Don't sit there in half guard. Don't do this. Don't do that. Come on, you got to fight him. You're stuck in the mud. He was just giving him crap every single time. And Jack, as the fight was going on, was just looking more and more deflated, dejected, defeated. DC and Rogan were saying that he was grimacing. He was grimacing in pain. I'm sure that some of the elbows and the punches and the calf kicks were all hurting. But I think for the most part, it was just the fact that he couldn't do anything. He was getting taken down. He was getting controlled. He did do a good job of not giving up, okay? Because, listen, Islam is a tremendous fighter, okay? He's got a record now of 28-1. He now ties Anderson Silva for a 16-fight win streak. I still think Anderson's was more impressive because 12 of those 16 fights were title fights, and that is more impressive. And of course, we saw some wild knockouts from Anderson Silva, but still, I'm not taking away from...
Meanwhile, Bal Muhammad praised Islam's performance as a flawless masterclass. He had predicted early on that if the fight went to the ground, Jack would face a very long night. And that prediction proved accurate. Islam combined precise striking, like sharp calf kicks, with a disciplined approach, staying fully committed to the game plan under Khabib's guidance. While Jack defended well, he gradually became exhausted. Muhammad highlighted the intense challenge of grappling with Dagestani fighters, noting their unique pressure. By sticking to his strategy, Islam secured the victory, giving Team Khabib their first double champion and solidifying their legendary status in UFC history.